Hello all of you, welcome to my channel Aftab Java World. Today we will be started for Spring small project for Crud repository. Include for Spring Boot JPA, Hibernate and RESTful web services and some MySQL database. Okay, let's go. We will start it. Yes, first we'll go to start Spring IO, then we'll create that project, right? I will be create one project names means package name spring boot dot crud. Okay, and demo will be create for spring boot crud operations. Okay, after that we'll select java 8 and dependency added. It's very important on that web dependency and JPA include for MySQL driver, right? And 3 dependencies needed for creating a small project for Spring Boot CRUD repository. Okay, then generated. After that we'll go to that zip file to on zip file here, right? Zip to extract here, right? And this is my project structure, and go to intelligent idea. Yes, okay, then we'll go to open and select for my download location and download here and Spring Boot CRUD operation. Okay, and this window, right now only some dependency will be downloaded here. Yes, now it's completed. We'll check that my model, yes, main method is available here and resource is here, and pom.xml will check that version 1.8. yes, it is a 1.8. JPA web and MySQL connector and test, all of things is available, right? Fine, great. Okay, first we'll start it created for package, right? New then package entity. Okay, entity package I will create here, means it is a main model for, and create for package controller. Okay, and create for service package, and create for repository, right? Enter. First we'll create for entity. Okay, and place for employee and create for employee model. Okay, here then we'll generate it for entity, right? And create for table. Automatically it will be create whenever that project will be run, then table will automatically generate in MySQL DB. Okay, then CRUD API, right? The table name is CRUD API table. Okay, CRUD table, better is not API, this thing is table. Okay, right? Okay, then I'll create private int id, then private string, just have two variable I will add it, first name. Okay, then private string last name, sorry, yes. Okay, inside for private create id I will create for id annotations and generated value for strategy and generation auto, right? Why I will be using generated? All of you know that id is primary key, right? Generated value means this annotation is used to define this primary key, right, to be an auto increment field, right? First we have to declare the primary key to be an auto increment field for generated for auto configurations, right? After that we'll create for getter and setter method here and to string, right? And to string. Okay, then okay, alt insert means shortcut will become, right? Okay, great. Then we'll going to repository. Repository is a interface. Don't add it for class, don't add it in them, and it is a interface, right? Be careful. Select here, right? Employee repository, employee repository, right? this repository mark at it is a repository, right? Then I will click here extends JPA repository. Inside for JPA repository I will create for employee model, right? And that integer. Okay, no issue, straightforward, right? Then it is controller, right? I will put that controller, employee controller. Always M is capital, my mistake. Employee controller, right? Inside for controller I will using for REST controller, right? What is the REST controller? I will tell you. First, request mapping. Okay, request mapping means Crud. Okay, I'm just put for Crud, right? REST controller actually it is a special annotations, right? And this REST controller used for RESTful web services and equivalent for response body and controller, equal REST controller annotations. Okay, and I will create for private employee, sorry, I'll create here employee service first, right? And create for employee service, be careful, employee service, right? And service will be marked at annotation for service annotations. Okay, then private here I will employee repository. Okay, it is auto add. Okay, great, sorry, yeah, great. I will be inject here private employee service, then employee service. Okay, then should be here auto add also. Okay, then I will check here controller all the business logics written here, right? Private employee model, right? Employee model, then save employee details. This is my method name. Okay, then we'll create for post mapping. I will tell you why I am using post mapping. Okay, empty save, right? Actually post mapping I am using for this annotation maps HTTP post request onto specific handler method. Okay, that's why I am using for post mapping annotations. Okay, after that return that employee service dot save employee emp details, right? And check that here. Yes, very important point here, request body I am missing here. Request body, I'll tell you why I am using request body. Employee model for employee model, right? Actually I am using for request body annotations. It is a convert the HTTP request Java class object, right? And it is HTTP message converter also. That's why we're using for request body. It is for access to the HTTP request body, and body content is converted to the declare method argument, right? Types of using HTTP message converter. That's why I'm using for request body. Okay, then employee model. Okay, I'll click here, then all insert. Okay, then click here one, create the one method inside for service and return employee repository dot save method here, right? And employee model. The same method is include for repository. Right click here, then showing that it's a Crud repository, extend for repository, right? And go to controller. Okay, and go to service, right? This one is saved. Again I will create for get by employee ID, right? Then I will create one method public, another method employee model get by ID, employee get by employee ID, right? I will click here one annotations get mapping, right? Inside for get mapping I will put for ID. By throw ID will be check that particular that employee details is available or not, right? That's why I'm using for get mapping. It is HTTP get request onto the specific handler method. This one is get mapping. Okay, then I'll check here path variable, right? I'm using for here path variable.